Okay, now that you've got your hive built and you've got your boxes, you've got your frames inside, you've got everything, now you need to prepare to actually deal with the bees. And so what's the equipment and clothing that you need? Well, the most obvious thing, of course, is a suit. Some people get full beekeeping suits, head to toe. I don't think you need that. Jeans are fine with some good boots. Make sure to tuck your jeans inside your boots so that the bees don't get up your jeans. That's a very uncomfortable feeling when you have that. But a coat like this with a good hood will be just fine. I choose this one because it has a lot of airflow, especially in the summer. It can get very hot inside this, and if you're spending a lot of time out there, you get warm. This is nice, but everybody has their own personal preference. So even a simple coat like this, where you zip it up, and then there's some Velcro here to make sure that the bees don't get in, works really nicely. So that's that. Some people even just get a hat with a hood and then wear a long sleeve shirt. The other thing that you need, of course, is going to be gloves. So here, these are the kinds of gloves that I use. They're long so that they cover, so that there's no part exposed. Works really nicely. These ones are leather gloves. Once you get more comfortable, you can do other things, like use these little plastic gloves here. The thing I like about these is that when you use the leather gloves, you don't have that sense of feel. You're more likely to make a mistake, to drop a frame or do other things that the bees aren't gonna like. You will be protected, of course, having those gloves on, but you will bother your bees. And what you want to do is make sure that you're treating your bees as well as you can, that you're not disturbing them. I find that with gloves, I make more mistakes. I squish more bees, I drop the hives, I drop the frames. You don't want to do that. So I like these, but you have to be comfortable. If you're not comfortable, if you're spending all of your time worrying about whether you're going to get stung and whether it's going to hurt, you're not focusing on what you should be doing, which is taking care of the hive. So if you find that you're nervous in using these and you would rather have these kinds of gloves, really strong gloves that they're not going to sting you through, then choose those gloves. Because your job, especially in your first year, is to learn about the hive, learn what you're doing. And if you're nervous, if you're worried about other things, you're not going to do a good job of learning. Wait till other years to do more fancy things. Sometimes I don't wear gloves at all. I feel that that's best, but I only do it when I know the hive is happy. And over time, you'll get to learn when's a good day not to use gloves and when's a bad day not to use gloves. But when you're starting, make sure the first most important thing is that you feel safe, that you feel covered, so that you can focus on your job. The next thing that you want to get are hive tools. There is a huge debate about what hive tools are best, and everybody has their own preference. These are two that I have. The key thing that a hive tool does is pry apart the boxes. So when you open the hive, you want to slip it in between here and then get leverage to open up the hive so that you can pull off the boxes. The other thing that you want to do is that the bees will stick, they will glue the frames inside together. They will what's called propylizing with propolis. And sometimes you'll have to get some leverage to peel the frames apart. And so those are the two basic jobs that a hive tool has. This one's very sturdy. It has good leverage here. This one's a little different. It uses this hook and then this hook to pull out frames so that you can actually hook the frames in like that and then pull it up. There's another one that I like, which is called an Italian tool. They're typically orange. They're much thinner. I find they're easier to slip in between the boxes and pry them apart. But get a few of them. See what you like. See what your favorite is. You may want a little more leverage on something a little more sturdy like this than an Italian tool, which is a little bit smaller. But make sure that you get a good hive tool. What's the point of having a hobby if you can't buy a lot of different things and see what works for you? So that's what you need to do with a hive tool. Next, get a smoker. Simple as this. They're not very complicated. Everybody has basically the same smoker. Some of them have a little cage around here so that you don't actually touch this. This gets super hot when there's the fire in there, obviously. So that cage will prevent you from accidentally touching it, which I have done a few times, but I am none the worse for wear, and this one works just fine. So anyone like this will do. If you want to know the best smoker fuel, how to get your smoker working so it lasts a long time, burlap bags. Burlap bags are fantastic. They burn very slowly. They're easy to light. They produce a good smoke. I used to be able to get them at coffee shops. I don't know that they give those away anymore, but you can find lots of sources of burlap bags that are very cheap and they work very well. So that's the basic of what you need for clothing and for equipment. You need your hive tool, suit, gloves of any kind that you want, and your smoker, and you are ready to go. And again, choose what works best for you. If you see somebody else that has something they like, but you don't like it, go with what you want. It's very simple. There's no need to be very fancy. Beekeeping is pretty easy. Bees have lived for a very long time without us. Most of what we do will screw them up. So keep it very simple. Make sure you're very comfortable in what you're doing. If you're a new beekeeper, make sure that the equipment that you have in terms of protecting yourself and handling the hive is easy and makes you feel safe, because then you can focus on your main job, which is to take care of your bees and learn about them, which is the most fun part.